Hello everyone, welcome for today's biology lesson. We want to briefly look at the pelvic girdle. And as you can remember, pelvic girdle is part of the skeleton. Apart from the pelvic girdle, we also have another girdle, which is known as the pectoral girdle. In our previous lesson, we learned about the pectoral girdle. So today, we want to learn about the pelvic girdle. Yeah, this girdle consists of two halves, which are normally fused together, and the point of fusion is known as the pubic symphysis. Each half is made up of three bones, and these bones are the ilium, ischium, and pubis. Let me say something about the ilium. The ilium is a bone, and we also have another ilium, which is the intestine. The difference between the two is actually letter I. Ilium of bone is actually having I, and ilium for the intestine is I, L, then E. So instead of I, we have E. And when you have E, therefore, that one is the one which is actually part of the digestive system that we call the small intestine. All right, let's go back. So the pelvic girdle, the two halves, they have a cup-shaped cavity. And this cup-shaped cavity is known as the acetabulum. And the purpose or the function of the acetabulum is to provide a region where the head of the femur is able to fit, and that is it therefore is able to form a ball and socket joint. The ilium articulates with the sacrum, and sacrum is actually part of the axial skeleton where we have the sacral vertebrae. Between the ischium and the pubis, there is a hole, and this hole is known as the obturator foramen. This is an aperture through which blood vessels, nerves, as well as muscles are able to pass. The design of the pelvic girdle is actually an adaptation to reduce weight of the pelvic girdle, and therefore to lighten the load which is above it, and by doing that, it's able to support the hind limbs. The pubic symphysis is composed of a flexible cartilage which permits the widening of the female girdles when giving birth. Actually, it is wide in females than in males. The reason is that in female, it is wide so that it is able to provide room for giving birth. The ilium, ischium, and pubis are fused. They are part of the fused bones. The other example of fused bones, as we learned earlier, is the cranium. The cranium is actually the skull. The skull has fused bones, and the lines of fusion are what we call sutures. This was part of the exam in the 2019 KCSE paper 3 exams. So the diagram, as you can see, is the pelvic girdle. The pelvic girdle. You can see the bones that we are calling the pelvic girdle. They are fused. The region of fusion is what we call the pubis symphysis. The two holes that you are seeing are what we call the obturator foramen. The part in yellow is the one that we refer to as the sacrum. This is another image describing the three bones, the ilium, the ischium. Look at the way it has been labeled, and also the where we have the pubis, near the pubis symphysis. The acetabulum has also been labeled. This is another view. The first diagram shows half of the pelvic girdle, so describing the ilium also, the ischium, the acetabulum, and also the obturator foramen. Good. So this is a diagram showing how the two bones are fused, and you can see the pubis symphysis actually is the part which connects the two bones in front. Behind it, we just have the sacrum. Good. Now that you know the parts of the pelvic girdle, let's see if we can attempt to identify the parts labeled A, B, C, D, and E. Part A, anybody who knows the answer, as well as B, C, D, and E? Good. Yes, A is the part of the vertebral column. This is the lumbar vertebrae. Uh-huh. B, B is one of the bones of the pelvic girdle. Yeah, this is the ilium. Good. C, look at where it is pointed at the tip. C is the caudal vertebrae, one of the type of the vertebrae. A vertebrae is actually bone of the vertebral column. Then D, part D is the pubis. Part D is the pubis, just near the pubis symphysis. And finally E. E is now a limb, and the limb is this part of the limb is the hind limb, what we call the femur. Good. All right. So the size of the pubic cavity is important in females, as we had said, in regard to childbirth. We normally have a hormone called relaxin, and the function of this hormone is to cause relaxation of the pubis symphysis during birth, and therefore it is able to expand the size of the pelvic cavity. All right. We have bones of the limb, and the bones of the hind limb. They consist of the bones of the hind limb consists of the femur. Then we have the tibia and fibula. So the two items, bones of the hind limb and where we have the tibia and the fibula and also the femur, will form part of our next lesson. Thank you very much. God bless you.